Welcome to No Options with Ty Gipson, the show where life's toughest trials become the foundation for your greatest triumphs. Real stories, raw conversations, and the unwavering belief that you were built to overcome. Now, here's your host, Ty Gipson.
All right, guys, I am extremely excited today. We here on the No Options approach, we've had some really good guests, but I'm really excited today to have this conversation with John Jesse. John, thank you first of all for being here with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, and John, I want to tee you up because you've got a lot to share with us, and I think our audience is going to be really pleased to hear what you have to say because we all deal with things, but you've come in with a lot of experience from the health side, and I'm excited to hear about it. But John is a lifetime educator and a trained journalist, and he has spent 40 years learning how to be healthy in in an unhealthy world, right? And not only from that, John, you took it a bit further, and you've written a book. So tell us about all this and the development that you have in this book that can help us.
Well, thanks, Ty. Appreciate that. Yeah, 40 years is a long time to spend on a book. I would think it would be better, but I was a lifetime educator, so I'm teaching and administering and doing a lot of research. I was in charge of research for our entire state and part of the country, so I learned how to review research. And this whole concept of the health continuum came fairly early, and then 40 years to develop. And so basically, here's the framework. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a continuum of health. You're on it. I'm on it. We're all going to end up at this end. You know what this end is? That's death. So we're all going to die. On this end is perfect health. And all along the way, we're making movement. And what we want to do is we want to move as far as we can for as long as we can. This is how we want life to be. We want to be here, here, here. And in the very end, zoom, die. We don't want to slowly go down and spend our last 20 years in just barely holding on. So the idea is not to lengthen life so much as to lengthen productive, exciting life. You want to have the strength to throw up your grandkids. You want to have the strength and energy to take out your wife or your husband or do whatever you want. And so the question is, in this crazy world, billions of dollars are spent by people all the time trying to make movement on the continuum. And the continuum is, think of it as a rope, okay, with strands of the rope. And I've identified the strands. We could probably argue and discuss with lots of people about what those strands would be. I spent 40 years and this is what I came up with. Genetics and age, those two you can't change, but you should be aware of them. Age is kind of like, if you think of the continuum, it's balanced on that. And as that moves, guess what happens? Yeah, it moves and it moves you towards death. There's nothing you can do.
That's right.
But you should be aware of your age and how it affects you. And you should be aware of your genetics. You can't change them, but being aware of them is helpful. Then the ones that you can do something about: response to stress, your emotional consumption, risk management. You don't want to live a life that's too dangerous, but you don't want to live a life where you take no risk and it's kind of boring. You miss out on opportunities. Hygiene, believe it or not, that is a critical one. And that's the big one that changed, 100 years ago, that extended life. And
Sure.
It was hygiene. Sleep, and now we're to the big three: sleep, physical consumption, physical activity. Okay, you have control over all of these except for age and genetics, but those last three really are what is going to make a difference for most people, and actually those last two. And so that's what my book's about mostly, is explains that continuum. And then the plea to people is this: you don't have an emotional energy to make more than one change at your life at a time. Right now it's January when we're talking, and I tell you, I worked in a gym, teaching cycling for over a decade and doing personal training. And every January you get all these new people coming in, and my regulars are complaining and that. I said, don't worry, they'll be gone in a couple of weeks. We try to save one or two, but that's what's happening right now. People are going out and they're trying to change lots of things. And in a few weeks, they're going to that's it. And they're going to be worse off than they were before. So my plea to people, my message to people is, let's be rational. Let's be realistic. It took a long time to get where you're at on the continuum. It's going to take a long time. And so people don't want to hear that necessarily, but it's the truth. And you can make change, Ty, you really can. And you can make change on one of these strands. So maybe it's physical consumption. You're going to change the way you eat. right? Or maybe it's physical activity. But the exciting part is if you change consumption, guess what? These are all interrelated. If I do better on consumption, I'm going to do better on activity. They're synergistic. If I improve my sleep, man, I'm going to be able to have more energy. So they're all kind of interrelated. And the key and what we try to help people to understand and be able to do is to identify the change right now that will give you the biggest bang for the buck. And the question I ask at the end of all my podcasts is, okay, folks, we want you to improve your health right now. So what are you able? There's two components. What are you able to do? What are you able and then willing to do right now to improve your health? One strand, one change. That's all we ask. And if you do that and you commit to that, on my podcast, I have people, Success on the Continuum. Ty's going to be on there soon to tell about his success and to motivate you, to help you see that, oh, wow, it really can be done. But none of these people was it weeks or months. It was years, because that's what it takes. It takes a long-term commitment each day. So that's what it's all about. And if we can just get one person from the visit today to say, you know what? Golly, I'm gonna do something about my sleep. I'm gonna try to go to bed at the same time a little early. It's that simple.
Well, I mean, you hit a lot right there, and I love, several things. And in fact, I was trying to jot down a couple of things you talked about. But what if you talked about January, and there's a lot of new, people that's wanting to do the right things. And we talk, a lot of times we talk about, it doesn't take huge steps, and you just make small steps to get to that. And a lot of it is, we talk about a lot, is the mindset, right? Being a positive thinker sometimes is the first thing we've got to do, is thinking that we can. Positive thinking, start moving in that direction. And then again, you're not going to change it all overnight, because we didn't get there overnight, as you mentioned.
That's right.
But what are some small, you mentioned, what are some really just small things that maybe you could recommend for somebody that just hasn't quite got that first step going?
Ty, I've been waiting 40 years for people to ask me questions like that. Actually, when I taught my spin class, they heard the whole book, and they kept asking, when's it going to be out? Yeah. Oh, next year. I taught for over a decade. And I really thought it would be out next year. Okay, why don't we do the big three real fast? We'll give you one free. So sleep. Sleep is so critical. I spent 2 years reading everything there was about sleep. And it's always about research with an N size of 1 yourself. So I did a lot of research. I use a device now that's on my leg right now. And I came up with the best things that work for me. So sleep is so critical. I would bet that if we talk to lots of people, a lot of them would come up with that would be the strand they need most improvement on. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, you can't exercise right. If you're not getting sleep, you're going to have your hormones are going to make you eat more than you should. It's tied to everything. They're all one rope, right? So sleep. And I'll give you a couple ideas for sleep. One thing is, it'd be really easy to just look at your sleep area. I had a computer and I'd realized, man, it has a big light, and all I got to do is go over and turn it off each night in the monitor. Maybe the shades or such. Look at is your bed, is it the right temperature? Do you need less blankets, more blankets? Just kind of analyze that. You can go online and read all the things and that's something at one time that you can do that and then keep that set. The other thing is, time and time again, research comes out, you need a set sleep and wake, go to sleep and go to wake time. And you're never going to be maximizing your sleep without a pretty close eye on that. So decide what works. Remember, it's able and willing. You may say, oh yeah, I'm willing to do that, but maybe your spouse goes to bed, 2 hours. It's just not going to work. So saying you're going to do it might work. That's the biggest mistake people make, is they're unrealistic. So be realistic. There's sleep. So there's an idea for that. For physical consumption, I just did a marvelous interview with a flexologist. You ever met a flexologist? Wow.
I have.
Yeah, it's, and for a lot of people, that might be a great way to start. She gave us 3 stretches that take 5 minutes, and you can do them right before bed or get up. You say, well, is that really going to change my health? Oh, I could talk for 20 minutes about how that's going to change your health. Yes, it's that simple. Or let's say you've read the research that says a lot of people are interested in losing weight, right? And there's a national register where it's not anyone selling anything, it's research. There's a national register where people are included that have lost their weight and kept it off for at least a year. And guess what? The number one exercise by far, not even close. The number one exercise for those people who have lost a significant amount of weight, kept it off for at least a year, is walking. So you say, wow, I want to lose weight. Well, I'm going to walk. I'm going to start walking. I'm going to walk 5 minutes a day. You say, well, that's not a lot. Well, it's establishing the habit. I'm going to walk 10 minutes. But don't say you're going to walk an hour a day, because you might the first day, and then you're not going to be doing it, and then you feel worse than before you started. So there you go. Walk 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And if you really want to make it happen, get someone else to do it with you, or at least that you're going to report to, because progress recorded, if you record it, increases, but progress recorded and reported increases incrementally much higher.
So accountability, some kind of accountability.
Accountability. There you go.
For sure.
And
for sure.
For physical consumption, wow, we could talk a long time, Ty. Most people, there's two issues with physical consumption, generally speaking, I've categorized it. One is the quality of the food you eat, right? What you're eating, and then how much. I personally have problems with both, because I've never met a chip I didn't like, and I have an appetite of an 8-foot person, I think. So you decide one or the other. You don't change your whole diet, change everything. Something as simple as, you know what, we know that it's not good to eat too late to bed. I think most Americans probably eat too late into the evening. So it might be simple as saying, well, it'd be perfect to stop eating at 6. Right now I'm eating till 10 or 11. I'm going to move it to 9. I'm not going to eat anything after 9, starting right now. Today, folks, one strand, one change. That would be it. And you will improve your health. And then maybe the key here, Ty, is when whatever change you've made, remember, you only have emotional energy to make one change at a time. But once you've made a change, you don't have to think about it anymore, right? It's like brushing your teeth. Then you're ready for another change. So when you get and you think, oh yeah, I never eat at 9. It's just part of or I always go to sleep at 9:30 pretty much. It's part of then you're ready to entertain the next one. And what's the biggest bang you're going to get for your buck? What's the change? You know, if you smoke right now, we don't need to talk anymore. Quit smoking. Find a way. It's the hardest thing in the world to do, but you can do it. You know, if you're using drugs right now, quit using drugs, because you find a way, because that's going to kill you quicker than anything.
The obvious, right? I mean, and that's what, and that's, we talk about all the time, and I keep going back to mindset, because I do talk a lot on my end about just the mindset, but I mean, you got to have the right mindset but you just brought up some really good points. Sleep, I mean, is critical. You talked about flexibility, walking, and then the things we eat. And those are all very obtainable things to, like you said, don't change the world tonight, but today, right now, like you just mentioned, right now, we could stop doing a certain thing or begin doing a certain thing that can make some small steps to a healthier living. And I love what you're talking about here, because I taught, as a juvenile diabetic, I mean, I really have a lot of these things that I need to work on all the time.
Well,
and I continue to.
The most powerful, do you know that if you want your children to read and you're a father, do you know what the most powerful thing you can do? It's related, they did lots of research. The most powerful thing correlated to children reading well is seeing their father read. Not their father reading to them, which is a great thing, and you should all do that.
Right.
But it's that power of example, right? So Ty, it's a new year. We got 3 strands. We'll talk of sleep, physical consumption, which is everything goes in your mouth and doesn't come back out, and physical activity, movement. Which of those do you think would give you the biggest bang in the buck for you personally to make some adjustment? Which of those 3? You can only choose one, Ty. Only one.
To me, and it's something I'm working on currently, is food consumption.
Okay.
I've changed. I don't eat breads.
You don't eat what?
A while back, I quit eating any kind of bread So I started that months ago, and I can tell you, I'm continuing to try to just eat small things that change the way I eat, and I'll be honest with you, it has completely changed the way I feel. But then in return, and you brought up a good point a while ago, because of the way I've been eating, I've actually been able to start doing some extra, physical activity because I feel better.
That's great.
Things just start to happen. So my number one thing, and it's something I'm going to continue, because I'm not sitting here by no means saying I do all these things perfectly, right? But I can tell you I'm continuing to work on just eating healthier. and that's this year. It's
Okay,
something
so
I'm going to
define,
continue
but
working
I'll tell
on.
you what, I
and
would
I
ask
hope
you if I was
everybody out
working
there
with you.
finds something.
And that's not what I did all my years of coaching. I only do it for very good friends now. But Ty, when you say eat healthier, what does that mean? What is it that you're doing now or not doing that is not healthy? So you either need to identify something you're going to eliminate or something you're going to begin. I will say it's always easier to do something than to not do something. I spent a whole chapter in my book talking about that because it's a complex psychological thing. So it's easier to say I'm going to eat broccoli than it is to say I'm not going to eat dessert, right? Okay.
A little bit more specific, I
want
guess, right?
Specific. And you could be doing it already, but it'll give your folks a great example.
Well, mine, and I guess we're going to have to come back later and just.
That's exactly right.
Accountability right here. I see it happening right now.
Yes, sir.
No, I mean breads. Any kind of bread, I have eliminated from my diet.
Okay,
and that's something that I am
and
not.
You're going to keep doing that.
I'm focusing on more proteins and less white breads.
Okay,
is that specific enough?
Okay, white bread. I talk about white bread, and that I commend you. All right, so your goal is, and I do counsel people. You know what? You can eat anything in this world, and not affect your health negatively. It's all about not eating very much and not eating it very often, right? And for a lot of people, the decrease in enjoyment, if I told my wife, you can never eat chocolate again, or you should never, psychologically, it's not a great way to go for most people. I'm an all or nothing guy. For me, sometimes I just have to do that because I'm all or nothing.
Correct.
And a lot of people are, and maybe you are too. But
I am. I've got to go all in or not.
Okay, so
right?
you're all in on the bread.
I'm one of those. But I agree. I love it, and I hope our audience hears this. Right, find something, and as you've taught us today, more specifically, find some small steps that we can achieve so that we can continue. It kind of goes back to that getting 1% better every day, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean, if we get 1% every day at whatever we're eating, just think what we're going to do in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, and in a year.
Right. That's exactly change.
Man, I'm excited. And I love what you're doing, and I love your topic. But one of the questions I have is, if someone is interested in your book, how would they find it?
Well, they could find the 6 or 7 people who bought it. No, my children. No. The book was never about money. The book was about credibility and getting it down. And so now everything I do is based on the book, because it really is. It's a framework. So they can go to Amazon.com, and it's the Health Continuum, John Jesse. They go to my website, johnjesse.org, john.jesse.org, and it's linked there. And I've had quite a few people I know who've read it, and apparently it's for a lot of people, it really makes a difference. Now, if anyone tells you this is going to work for you because they tell that to everyone, they're lying to you. So I don't know, the book may not speak to you, but I've had enough feedback now. I could say confidently, I think it very well could, and it could give you just what you need to start framework. It's not a solution. There's no magic bullets. It's a framework to help you kind of weed through all this mess that's out there. Because even if someone said to me today, or said, hey, I want to get healthy this year, and they look, it's like, wow, how do I do it? This guy says, eat all this meat. This guy says, no, you need to lift weights. So the guy's 200 grams of protein. No, it's all about, not eating these types of vegetables. I mean, there's so much. Just take this drug and you'll lose weight. I mean, it's a mass of confusion. This book helps you, if you read it and then follow the philosophy, kind of sort through all of that
that's awesome.
To make the decisions for you, because no one can tell you what's going to make you healthy.
And I love that, because you're right. There's so many options out there, and there's so much stuff that we're just getting fed, and from social medias and the news and the media. So this is great. And I really encourage people to go check out the book, but also tell us a little bit about your podcast. I know you have a podcast as well.
Yeah, I do. So I have 3 segments that we do on a continuing basis. One is Ask an Expert. So I visited with one of the foremost experts on BFR. You probably don't know what BFR is. Most people don't. No. Blood flow restriction. Your physical therapist knows, but 90% of them know about it, but only 30% use it. It's the next big thing, Ty. I promise you. If I said to you, you go in the gym, and if you use this, then you're going to be able to do half the amount of work and get the same benefit or even more. You'd say, wow, sign me up. Now, there's no magic bullet. Nothing works for everyone and nothing works perfectly, but this is as close to anything I've ever found. I've been using it for over a year, and my legs are as strong as they've ever been. And they weren't weak before. I mean, I've done 200-mile bike races, multiple marathons. I mean, I'm, running across the Grand Canyon and back. I'm not a wimp, but man, they are strong. It's an amazing tool. Now it's part of a whole plan, but most people don't know about it. So that's Ask an Expert. And that was my interview. It's up right now. And he's good. And he explains why you want to do this. And I can't imagine anyone watching that, listening to that, not saying, oh, I want to do that. I've had people reach out. So the other one is, we mentioned success on the continuum. People like you're going to be on there, where we have people who've done it, who've made some movement, and it's all different. And they provide some great motivation. And the last one is me giving a quick health tip, we call it. And it's basically things directly from the book that I've been teaching for over 40 years. We talked about beets the other day, and people got kind of excited about that. It's the healthiest, it was titled The Healthiest Vegetable You Probably Aren't Eating. And Ty, I bet you don't eat beets every day. But if you watch that video and did what we said, you'd say, oh my goodness, this is great. And it cost me very little, and it's very easy to do. I have a bag of cut beets in my fridge.
Well, that is something I do not have, but I'm actually interested in hearing that, because
you go watch that one and send
that one's not that is not in my refrigerator right now, but it's probably something that needs to be. And after talking to you last time, I realized I want to hear more about this beet stuff. So I'm excited to hear more about that, John.
I bet they grow big, juicy, beautiful beets in Texas.
I don't know anything about that, but they may be. I just need to find out. So, well, John, it's been absolutely a pleasure. And I know you live out in southern Utah and a beautiful area, and you get up to hike. You talk about hiking and all this stuff, and you mentioned something earlier. 17 grandchildren. Real brief. Tell us a little bit how you keep up with 17 grandchildren, because I know that's very important to you.
Well, it's been a few weeks since we talked, and it's 19 now. We had what we think might be our last two. Yeah, two babies, boom, boom, too busy. We do goals like everyone. We review them. We set them at the beginning of the year, and we review them every week. That's the key. And one of our goals last year, and now this year, has kind of risen and expanded, and that is to deepen those relationships with grandkids. So now we just try to make some sort of connection with a grandkid all the time, once a month, once a week. And it takes a lot of effort. One of my grandkids, we hiked across the Grand Canyon, rim to rim, which is kind of a big deal now. And spent a few days, spent a lot of money. It was worth it. He's a great kid. But, you just do things like that. We
find ways.
Another grandkid, we did a road trip. We both have Teslas, and we did a road trip to the Tesla diner. He thought that was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know. You ask God to give you insight and inspiration on when to call him and what to say and what to suggest and what to be able to do. It's our, my wife and I, our highest priority is each other, right? As far as people here on the earth. But next to that, it's these grandkids. You want to be. Yeah. My goal, and she shouldn't ask me, I'll talk. My goal with my grandkids is to help them experience or learn something they wouldn't otherwise, right? So none of his parents were going to take him across the Grand Canyon, and none of his friends. But I could do that for him and give him a lifetime experience that he'll never forget. That's what we kind of look for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, absolutely. Experience with grandkids, and I love it. I love that you find ways to connect with them and do things with them, and again, it's just it's awesome to listen to things you're doing and things you're achieving. And guys, again, if you can get time to listen to John on any of his podcasts, his books, I encourage it, because this is a little bit I visit with him. I always walk away feeling like I've learned something, and just like you told us a while ago, we need to all go try beets. That's the new thing, right? We're all gonna attempt this beets and get healthier. But John, on a serious note, I really do appreciate you being with us today. And man, I'm excited to see, and we'll check back in a couple of months and make sure that we're on track. Accountability. I wrote this down right here, so I'm looking forward to making sure I keep my word. But John, is there any last words that you want to leave? And again, I just thank you for your time.
No, Ty, I just want to thank you for having me on. I appreciate what you're doing to help people, one person at a time, sharing your story, sharing your attitude about how we can do it. We're totally aligned with that. And I thank you for your time. And of course, I always say, hey, what are you able and willing to do today to improve your health right now? One strand, one change. Ty's doing it. You can do it.
Right. That's right. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So John, I appreciate the encouragement. Guys, go out there and find something to change today. And John, we thank you. And thank you guys for being on today, and take care. We'll see you.
Sir. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to No Options. If this episode spoke to you, please take a moment and leave a review. And more importantly, please share it with someone who may need to hear it. You can find more stories, resources, and ways to connect over at my website, tygipson.com. And that is Gipson with a P, TYGIPSON.com. Remember, no matter where you are, your story isn't over yet if you live like you have no options. I'll see you next time.
You know Ty Gipson is an entrepreneur, a relentless survivor. Did you know he's also a powerhouse speaker? After overcoming 3 transplants, juvenile diabetes, he built thriving businesses with one mantra: no options. Ty transforms adversity into action. His keynotes ignite audiences with real-world resilience and 30-plus years of sales mastery. Are you ready to inspire your team? Book Ty Gipson today as your next speaker. You can call 512-944-4780 or head over to tygipson.com. That's Gipson with a P. It's time for your event to share the motivation that is no options.